All right, all right, all right. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3. In the forest. The ants in France stay mainly in your pants. 20 dwarves, 20 dwarves. All right, so hey, welcome to Forex.Today, the YouTube channel. More than 18,000 foreign exchange traders stationed around the world. Today we will gather to do some technical and fundamental analysis, get to see the markets, put together some trade plans, analyze our positions, so on and so forth. Ask questions. 5 minute to a 1 hour presentation today. I am on my triple screen laptop in the beautiful banquet room of a log cabin. Well, it's a big hotel. Looks like a log cabin on a lake in northern Wisconsin. Very cool. We also have a cabin out in the woods. No Wi-Fi. So anyways, I got to have my Forex, right? So anyways, so thank you very much for being here. And I'd like to thank Traders Way for being part of our community as well. If you are looking for a trustworthy broker, hey, you know what? They've earned my loyalty and respect. If you visit tradersway.com, bottom right-hand corner, you can set up a demo account. Takes, no joke, less than 1 minute. You can choose to download MT5, MT4, C-Trader, a few other things. And the cool thing is you'll find, while you practice and develop the skills and confidence you need before you trade real money, but they'll also show you that they have fast execution speed, narrow spreads, big swaps, world-class customer service, and above-average looking customer support people. And you're like, wow, they're beautiful in customer support. So, hey, tradersway.com. And check it out. I'm over here. Ni hao ma. Okay, cool. All right, so here we are. Oh, is the swing in the swing trading group? Do you review and comment on trade plans? Yeah, Kevin. Oh, for sure. It's one of the main things we do. Okay. Coolio. So anyways, I got my chat over on a different screen today, which is good. So anyways, let's take a look. These seem to be yen pairs, and they all seem to be down. So we have congruency. What that means is Japanese yen strength. Cool. So let us see. Let me expand this. Windows, tile vertically. Pachow. Cool. So let's start with our euro yen trade from 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Okay. And are we stabilizing? Yes. Do we expect to stabilize at 128.825? Yes, that is our expectations. And so far, evidence shows, no, it's just minor evidence, but minor evidence show that maybe, just maybe, just maybe, just maybe, just maybe, okay, maybe, just maybe, we have a support level. But that is not confirmed because it's not technically support until it double bottoms. And then, of course, what we're really looking for is a reversal. Probably going to happen in August, but I'm going to be ready, willing, and able. It's going to be so good. It's going to feel so great. And it's going to be wonderful. But, hey, we need some time yet. So right now we just said, you know, we kind of... threw the seashells onto the table and said, oh, hey, 128.85 is going to be support. So we got that. Now, what seashells are we using to predict this? Well, we're using, or if you prefer tea leaves, what tea leaves are we using? We're using weekly and monthly pivot points. And there is a confluence down at that price. And guess what? It bounced. Of course it bounced, dude. Of course it bounced. If you didn't expect it to bounce, then stop using those tools. So anyways, and by the way, I have to eat trail mix while we go. Right. So anyways, we're stabilizing there, and on maybe a smaller time frame, like maybe an hourly chart, you might say it is starting to stabilize and bounce. Okay, cool. we still have to get through the top here, because it's not really a good reversal until you're at least through resistance, right? So the first part is double bottom, second part is higher high, third part is higher low. We're a bajillion miles away from that, so continue to shoot at rabbits. Okay? So anyways, check that out. Even if this didn't make you money, we were here yesterday, and I'm like, dude, we're at support. It's done. It's over. Ish kaputya. Okay? So we come back 24 hours later, we're still at the same price. Well, what if you wasted a day trying to sell a downtrend at support? Well, that's your own fault. Okay, that's your own fault. Now, what about the counter trend trade? As you know, an OOP leads to a CT. Yeah, well, we don't have that yet, do we? And that's why it's not a preferred trade, in my opinion. Okay, cool. So anyways, I look at this, and the tools we use, right, are appropriate. Cool, because that was helpful. So now what? Well, let it do its thing. It's still technically a downtrend, so being a bull in a situation like this is dangerous to almost negligent. Okay? What we did anticipate 24 hours ago is bears would start to take profit, and in my opinion, they did. Now, not very many, but nobody shorted either. Okay? You understand that? Why? Because it's summer. Dude, nobody's trading except us, right? So cool. Anyways, so that's looking good. It's behaving the way one would expect. Has it provided a bullish entry? No. No. No, it has not. But that's not the point right now. We don't expect that now. I think I said it yesterday. I said the problem with being in a situation like this is that it's too early. You guys remember that? I'm like, it's too early. Right? Too early. Yeah, I'm just working on the volume. I don't think that's going to be any better. Maybe if I do that. So anyways, it's just too early for a reversal, but it's the basis of a reversal. Okay? Oil and Canadian dollar is still being crushed by the changes from OPEC, and it makes sense. Okay, it makes sense. Remember, I have taught you many times when peak oil is and what tends to happen, right? So anyways, I don't know, whatever, it needs to happen. Again, it's the OPEC meeting, changes in supply, and great, okay. Does this mean oil is going to come down the rest of the year? Does this mean CAD yen is going to be lower, excuse me, by the end of the year? No. So if you're like, well, Wayne, what does this all mean? Look, you know, I'm in an algorithmic trading program at Oxford, right? I spent 3 hours studying yesterday, by the way. What do you do on your vacation? Yeah. So anyways, after trading, I spent 3 hours. And so if you were teaching a computer, I want you to think about this. If you were writing an expert advisor for MT4, and you were trying to trade the CAD yen trend, and you're bullish, why? Either you have to be bullish or you did some sort of longer term fundamental analysis, okay? And you're like, I think by the end of the year, CAD yen's going to go up. Great. So if you were to design your own indicator or expert advisor for MT4, MT5, what would you teach it to do for buying? And then what would you teach it to do to stop buying? Okay? What would you do? And shouldn't you be doing that yourself? If you're like, I don't know nothing about no EA. I don't know nothing about no EA. Well, look, this is what we're supposed to be doing, right? So what would you ask yourself to do? And how should you be are the sort of the bigger. So let's see if I can get I think this is it. Okay. So for example, let me grab this. Hello. There we go. Okay. Okay. How should you behave if you're a bull right now? We're going to use the standard deviation tool to make decisions. So you could like program a computer to think this way. Look, if the slope of the mean is above, okay, 0, then you're a bull. But what do you do when all of a sudden you're not reverting the mean? In fact, on smaller time frames, it's actually become bearish. What would you tell the computer to do? That's all an algorithm is. Okay? That's all an algo is. So what would you do in this situation if you were programming? Would you tell it to stop trading if you were a bull? And then the next question is, what would you look for, or how would you program your algorithm to say, it's time to be a bull again? You guys there? Did I lose you? Did I freeze? Typically when I ask a question, a response would be great. Hello. Let's see. No, we're chugging along, 30 frames per second. CPU is down to 10%, 9%. Wow. So I don't know where you guys went. Just waiting to see if it's like a 45-second lag or something. Really? Did I lose you guys? I must have lost you guys. No way. Let's see. I got. That's OBS. That's this thing. Concurrent viewers. Well, you're there, but did my Wi-Fi die? All right, well, we'll see how it goes. If I don't get you back, oh, there we go. Everything's just slow. Okay. Okay. Okay, good. So I want you to think about that. Like, now you should be behaving first and foremost like a professional trader. So think about it. You should be on a yacht in a beautiful location. You bought really nice clothes so you'd look good. And you're hanging out with a potential client. Are you talking about what's happening on the CAD Yen 4-hour chart today? No, nobody cares. Okay? So instead, you have to have that longer term outlook. You're going to talk about the next 6 months, the next 12 months, next 18 months, right? So in this case, you might say, well, I think CAD Yen is up. Good, it's falling. Well, what do you care? you're setting up the next trade. Cool. And I'd like for you guys to be on these bigger trades that are highlighted in CAD yen. Notice the CAD yen bullish rally, as seen here, started the night of the US election, which I did a special like midnight live stream so that you could be ready for this trend. And do you remember I said if Biden wins, this goes up, and if Trump wins, this goes up. Do you remember that? Wow, well, that's quite a crazy prediction. Well, I've done my analysis. So this is what you should be doing now. What's the next 6 months? What's the next 12 months? Are you going to be buying or selling? If I could do that on the US election, you should be doing this based on the Fed decision or something, right? Anyways, cool. So we got that going. And then where did it stop? Let's see if I can grab this. This says this spot right here, just sort of the higher low but lower high scenario. 1 week before the Fed meeting, the June Fed meeting. To restate this, the way that I described this to you based on seasonality was November 16th, I think it was, okay, was the first day of the year. And June 16th is the last day of the year. And this period we're in now, it's just summer. It's just summer. This is when you should be raising money. Okay? Cool. So my point here is, what are you going to do? Like, your new year is coming up in a couple of months. It's like going back to school, right? When kids go back to school in September, that's kind of like you. Like, oh, I got to go back to work. It's a new year. The school year is your trading year. Okay? So anyways, cool. So I want you to be thinking about how to think. So this has been falling, right, on a 4-hour chart since the beginning of July, which we also knew. It's blown through the target, okay? But how many people here have heard me that we're going to have artificially wide pivots in August and then artificially compressed pivots in September? Well, this is what's happening. Cool. So now we're going to like probably fart around between, oh, I'll make up a number, 84 and 89. But even that's pretty good. So we might not even do that. So I want you to think about now that attitude-wise, you're doing what the algo would be doing. And you're asking questions like, when do I start buying the fundamental trend? Gee whiz, right? When do I start buying the fundamental trend? And that's what your technical analysis is about. Now, while you wait, we call this shooting at rabbits. There's no fundamental basis. It's not big game. You're not hunting moose and elk and mastodons. You're shooting at rabbits and squirrels. Hey, you got to eat. I get it. Okay? Cool. So I want you to have that frame of mind where this is what's happening now, which is fine, but later you will be trading what will be, not now. What will be. Okay? We're supposed to be thinking 6 and 12 months in advance as investors. Okay? Okay? Cool. So this is not bullish right now. That's it. Cool. And I think you'll find, like, as we go around the charts, that they're all somewhat similar. Beast is a good one, right? We have Beast going down. We're hitting the best target. After this, by the way, I don't know what's going to happen in. I say that because you see where we started July? Okay. In my book that I wrote, what, 14 years ago? And which means I started writing the book 15 years ago, which means 16, 17, and 18 years ago, I already knew this stuff. It was in my brain. But using the book as an example, I said in a scenario like this. Oh, it won't let me draw. Why won't you let me draw? Okay. I'm trying to draw X here. Let's see if I can get this. Okay. In a scenario like this, that's tough drawing. All right. In a scenario like this, when that is the top of the market, and for you to think about it being the top of the market, you have to be a bear. I see this as money coming out of the market, so it's not that I'm a bear, it's that the market is bearish. Money is coming out of the market, and I think in the future money will come back into the market. So all we know is this is coming down, and it makes sense for this time of year. Okay? And by the way, in one of the courses, we talk about seasonality, and we know seasonality-wise, this is pretty normal. Okay? All right. So anyways, based on that, in the book written 14 years ago, I was telling you about my trading experience, tells me that once we get down to here, the pips are not reliable. Another way of saying it is the pips have a higher risk associated with them, a less reliability. And I'll draw this horizontal, this trend line. There we go. So based on this X, you should expect this X. Isn't that cool? That X, mathematically speaking, should probably go to here. And then it should probably stop falling. Doesn't have to. All it's doing is measuring things like standard deviation of the market in the previous period. So it's not smoke and mirrors, voodoo magic. You don't have to kill a goat to get this to work. Okay? But that's the probability. It says based on what happened in June, that top predicts that bottom. Done. Isn't that cool? Is that right, Cash? Yeah, what year? So what year is that? How long ago? So let's get that correct. So what is that, 13 years ago? All right, 13 years ago. Cool, right? So what do you do with that information? Well, what are you, a gambler? Or are you an engineer? How do you look at this? How do you look at your Forex trading? Are you a financial engineer? Okay. In this case, the math says you should probably stop selling. Now, it could continue falling. Remember, right? Remember, the pivots are just an algo. It doesn't tell you that there was a coup in Haiti. You know, it doesn't know that. Okay. Now, you might say, well, I know about the coup in Haiti, and I don't think it'll impact the pound yen. Yeah, but what about the other million things that you know, or the billion things that you know? Okay, you're updating big data faster than you can program the algo. Right? Okay, cool, right? All right, let's go look at the dollar pairs. So white as snow. The more I see, the less I know. The more I have to let it go. Hey, oh, listen what I say. Oh. All right, I didn't get the pullback right. but we're coming up on target. No pullback, just a big old move. Okay. So you have to decide, do you think this is a front run? If so, the target is still that M2. If you think it's OOP, the thing is there's no there's no CT because we're already at what, the 20th? Today's the 20th, isn't it? You know, I'm so far up north my phone doesn't even work. There's no cell phone service. uh, anyways, so it's too late for a CT. Although we might anticipate one next month. I don't know. So the easier pips are being made here, although there's nothing easy about that. So let me try to zoom in on an hourly and say what I mean in a different way. Okay, these moves here kind of predict the is less predictable. And what I predicted is more predictable, meaning that there's some sort of bounce here on a Monday or Tuesday, and we trace up here, and then we take it down one more hurrah, kind of an Arctic turtle scenario, but selling off the top. So this is really moving hot and fast, and typically, I would say when you hit this, it's going to, you know, these traders are going to take profit, and there's going to be a lot of green. Again, I don't know if this is truly selling or more people leaving the market. That I don't really know, and nor could I ever really. I mean, I can prove it using COT, but by the time it happened, who cares? It's like it's like being run over a bus, and you get to the hospital, you're like, well, which bus was it? Who cares, dude? So whether it's falling because people are selling, or if people are buying, or if people are exiting, either way, we can't really prove it for a week and a half, and so it doesn't really matter, right? So you might as well just get out of the way and keep, right, riding that 21, Bubba. Gotta love that 21. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, nice move, huh? Okay, same thing here. The top of this market is the central pivot, which is seen here. So the target would be S2, which would, let's just call it 73, 72 and some change. Right, so not many pips left. Okay, now this is a pretty tight range for this pair, but nonetheless, is it bullish or bearish? Okay. Well, follow this. Where would it turn bullish if it could? Where would it stabilize if it could? And I would say either this bottom or this top. What do you think? Okay, where's it going to bottom out? 70 or 73? Hey, 70 sounds like a good story, right? 70 sounds like a pretty good story. Cool. So if not now, later, right? Cool. Right on. Looks like maybe sometime in August. Cool, man. Cool. I think I'll skip over, do some like gold and oil and Bitcoin, and then call it a day. Oh, is it Bezos Day? Very cool. So I don't think I have it on this. I think I have it on exotics. Hang on. There we go. Well, that's interesting, Hope. When I worked at NASA, I flew a lot of different things, including the space shuttle, but never a rocket. It's a tricky thing to be a pilot with no wings. So I don't know if I'd want a rocket. Oh, Cash is in Sydney? Cool. Cool. All right. All right. All right. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? Peso. Oh, these are just tiring, some of these, right? We've been waiting for so long for many of them. I guess we got to start with bitty, bitty, bitty. Can't you see? And where are we? I'm out. No way. You see that? Okay. No way. I'm out. I bought it at 29,999,999 about a month ago. Almost exactly a month. Nice. So anyways, I'm out, bruh. Bruh, I'm out. Okay. And that's going to be disappointing to a lot of people. Yeah. Yep, Cash. Also, it's just easier to program a lot of those things. But you're right. Traders are, well, I wouldn't say traders are dumb. Investors are dumb and love colors and round numbers. So back when I used to pay for a service where I could see the bank positions, Morgan Stanley was the type of trader, or they're positioned in such a way that they would buy it at like 50 and target 70, like that kind of stuff. I'm like, dude, are you just making this up? Like, why 50? Because it's 50, and why 70? Like, for what reasoning? Like, and it just seemed like they they just make it up. And it was really strange. Okay. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for thanking me, and I thank you for thanking me. Yes. Yeah. Welcome to northern Wisconsin, the forests of northern Wisconsin, where cellular service and Wi-Fi reception is none. No, I'm not near Lake Superior. But I was out on Lake Michigan. I took a boat out into Lake Michigan. I was in Chicago on the weekend, and took the wife and kids out into Lake Michigan, and then we motored up the Chicago River. So very cool. All right. Okay. Is that right on? Nice trade. Good for you. Yeah. So I'm just out. That's all. I'm out. I'm out of Ethereum as well. Just out. Cool. That'd be very interesting to see if Bitcoin starts to create a regular seasonality and start to correlate with macroeconomics. That'd be interesting. A Highlander? I'm not sure. I don't want to look. But it was just for fun, right? Cash says, hey, cryptos are heading south really fast, bro. Well, the thing is, I had a stop loss. So I didn't lose any, let's say physical money. Highlander points out that I probably lost on the swap. Yeah. But the issue is like if I was long and I felt that cryptos could break and really head south, like Bitcoin goes all the way back to 20,000, then I probably need to do something about it. And one of them would be to place a stop loss. Okay. But I should probably like I think in my Coinbase account, I think there's probably somewhere between 1/3 and 1/2 of a Bitcoin, so I should probably convert that. Oh, I'm not going to log into my Coinbase. Hey hackers, hey hackers, follow me to my Coinbase account. Yeah, not going to happen. So I'll just have to keep my fingers crossed. All right. Out in nature must be very nice, but I live on a lake, so it's really funny because we're out on this lake, and the other people are quite excited. Oh, we went fishing and all this kind of stuff, and I'm like, so someone caught a crappie yesterday, and I'm like, well, I got that in my lake back in Georgia. Like, hey, I came 1,000 miles from one lake to another lake. So it's a weird vacation. So, anyways, the kids and I went racing go-karts yesterday while everyone else was like playing on the lake. We're like, snore. So we went racing cars. Anyways, all right. So there's Biddy, Euro Lira, no. Euro Dollar, no. Dollar Rand. I'm just waiting, as we know. That's daily. Now, it's still maybe struggling to make a higher high. I'd love for this to just pause for a while. I will end here. No, I was going to end on peso, but actually, no. Who cares? It's moving sideways. I want to sell, but not now. What I wanted to do was gold and oil. So where do I got that on this machine? Do I have a commodities tab? Yeah, much needed break. But again, I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, meditate, then get my stuff together to do my YouTube live stream. And then that's over, I eat. And then I set up and I do 3 hours of schoolwork so I can finish my thing at Oxford. And then by around noon, right, I got to catch up with the family. So in between there, so like we also have a cabin on the lake, except the cabin doesn't have Wi-Fi. So as soon as I'm done this, I'll run, go eat, feed the family, and then I'll take them. They'll throw them in the rental. By the way, I got this really souped up Jeep Grand Wagon, I think it is. Really souped up is really funny. But anyway, so I'll throw them in the Jeep. I'll zip over there, drop them off at the lake, and then drive back here, work for 3 hours on schoolwork, right? And then jump back in, drive out there, and quickly hang out. I guess it's under market. So, like, it's just funny, like, oh, yeah, nice relaxing break. Yeah, okay. Yeah, great. It feels like a lot more work than that. It doesn't feel relaxing. All right. Just trying to be a dad and a husband, a currency trader, and a college student. All right, cool. So look at our gold. Isn't it lovely? Lufletuliumum. Okay? Look at that. Straight off the M2. Is that real? Just crazy, right? So that's a beaut. Okay? It's going to be like this is one of those situations when the world really is suddenly scared about inflation. That's pretty good for gold. That's a traditional reason to buy gold. And so as the narrative, even if it's a misunderstood narrative, but if the market narrative, instead of narrative, let's use sentiment. If the sentiment is that the Fed's going to raise interest rates because inflation's too high, that's also a sentiment for buying gold. It's a little strange because then it gets confusing. Like, why are you buying gold? Well, I think I think inflation is high and it's out of control and the world is going to crash. And okay, great, prepper, great. So you think gold is going to go up? Yeah. But the Fed's going to raise interest rates. Many people think that that would strengthen the dollar, which means your gold in dollar could come down. And they're like, wait, what? But ultimately, I think the dollar will weaken. So someone is wrong. Either the gold buyers are wrong or the dollar buyers are wrong. And the way I'm kind of thinking about it is gold buyers are correct and dollar buyers are wrong. But we have a journey. It's going to be 6 months, right? We'll have to do that journey together because the Fed's probably going to announce in September the taper or start the taper, and it'll be early next year by the time we're to zero. Okay? I hope I just see your comment now on the hacking. Well, I was in Tokyo years ago, and I needed to pay a bill or something. I'd logged into my laptop, and I needed to pay a bill or something. So I logged into PayPal, and all of a sudden, boom, PayPal just said, look, we locked your account because we saw someone come in right behind you. I forget the language, but they're like, I guess they're just swarming the network at the hotel in Tokyo. And they know it's all tourists, right? That was a business hotel, but anyway, so they're scanning this whole thing, and they just saw me type in PayPal.com, like, boom. So all the bots are ready. And as soon as I logged in, PayPal shut me down, boom, immediately. And they're like, someone came in behind you. Like, no way. So I just don't do it anymore. Yeah, right, Jimmy? But, Jimmy, but these are all investments, right? These are all investments, if you think about it. Like, ultimately, life is a bunch of investments. So if I don't invest into my children and my wife, they will depreciate, right? Will decline. So these things require investment and reinvestment, if you will. So I could be the world's greatest Forex trader, and I will have to give up my relationship with my wife and children, right? And I'm like, well, I don't really want to do that. So somehow there's got to be a balance. Now, I would argue my life isn't balanced, but I'm trying to balance the things in my life, right? Like, I don't need to go to Oxford. A lot of people, maybe even many of you guys, why would this loser go to Oxford and study algorithmic program trading in their program? I don't need it. It definitely adds stress to my life. I'm spending 3 hours every morning on my vacation doing. But the opposite of that is, man, there's a lot of opportunity in there. I'm exposed to different thoughts from different people. Even though much of it is doing what I already do, it's nice to have that exposure. But then what about the side effects, positive ones, where I'm doing schoolwork on my summer vacation, and my children are watching me. There was dead silence yesterday where we talked about the homework they should be doing in preparation for the new school year, and they keep pushing it off. And I said, hey, guys, I woke up at 5:30 and did 3 hours worth of schoolwork. And you could it was like dead silence, like, holy shit, really? Like, yeah. And I'm going to do it again tomorrow. And so there's some upside to that. Maybe they'll resent me. Who knows? But yeah, so definitely a change of scenery. But like I was saying, it's an investment. So I will do all that this morning, and I'll get on the jet ski at lunchtime, and I'll go out jet skiing with either my son or my daughter or my wife, right? And have some lunch, and then we're going on a pirate ship, and then maybe we'll have some more food somewhere, maybe do some mini golfing, and then maybe go out on the pontoon boat at sunset, like, and then, but I'm going to wake up early and do my work, you know? So if you want like the honest view of how to be a trader, this is how I'm trying to balance my life. You'll find later on that Forex is always a challenge. And this is how I'm trying to balance relationships in my life, live a relatively interesting life, and be a trader. It's difficult, isn't it? Okay. Cool. So that looks good to me for gold. I love the fact it kicked off the M2 that targets the M4, which is way up here at like 1925. Hard to believe now, but that's what it says. Remember, I'm not making an opinion, but if you bought it at 17 and a half, we're going to 19 and a half. That's just that. And I think I said it 2 weeks ago. So it just is. That's just what it says. You asked me to play the music. Remember, I'm like a piano player. They're like, "Hey, play the song." And so I grabbed the sheet music, I put it up, and I can play it. I don't know what the song is, but I'm just playing it. Okay? Because that's what the notes say on the paper. Well, I'm just reading the notes here, guys. So what do the notes say? Okay? This is an R1, S1 is typical. This is based on what happened last month. This is quite oversold. Like the drop isn't unexpected, but this must be fundamentally related, not technically related. Well, we also know right in here before the break below the central pivot, we finally got an OPEC plus decision. Remember, it was delayed, and then they've made a decision, and then boom. Okay? Okay? Down in here. Okay? So what do we do here? I certainly couldn't sell anymore. Even though this is a fundamental move, you don't have to play every hand at the table. You understand that? Sometimes it's good to take a break. Okay? So anyways, we're getting pretty close to that point of taking a break. Now you might say, well, Wayne, there's a lot of other assets that we looked at that went to S2 or lower. And I say, okay, but where did they start that move? And you'll go back and say, well, central pivot. Okay, where did we start this move? You're like, was it the central pivot? No, it was higher. Was it the M3? No, it was higher. Was it the R1? Yes, it's the R1. All right, well, if you want to have the same proportion of move, we should have stopped at the S1. But we're not at the S1, we're at the M1 on our way down to S2. Well, that's a dangerous journey. Okay? There's wolves in that forest, right? Be careful. Okay? Be careful as you tread. Okay? So it could go down to 64.20, I guess it is, 64. I would probably, like, if you were going to stay on this and take crude down more, I'd have to bail at 65. I don't think I'd want to do that. But if you were playing that today, like you're trading the market open, you're trading a 15-minute chart or something like that. But bear in mind, you're a couple of hours late for a market open on oil. But maybe you caught this. Okay, let's do that. If you sold here in the market open, so we know that's actually closer to 7, which is, yeah, this is about right. All right, so that, let's say you did a day trade, actually a market open trade on oil, the way I've taught you. And for whatever reason, it won't let me draw X's. There we go. Okay, a market open trade, the way I've taught you how to trade market opens for oil specifically. Okay, that would be your entry, okay? And I say within 2 hours, you should have at least, okay, at least 70% of the average daily range. So we're not actually like targeting a price. It's like you can be in this trade all day if you want, but you could probably get out in 2 hours and be pretty good for the day. Do you want to work 2 hours or do you want to work all day? What you're doing is you're getting the first wave of new money and then exiting, and then bulls and bears battle the rest of the day, and then maybe the market goes higher at the close or comes lower at the close, but you don't really care because you're already out. So you might as well just catch that new money. Is there new money coming in the market right now? Is new money coming in to short WTI? Once again, I don't know. I can't answer that question this time of year. We can speculate and stuff, but by the time I answer it, it's going to be a week and a half late, so who cares? Okay? Okay? So what do you think? I think if you stayed on this at 66.5 because you did a day trade and you got this down to 65, I'd bail and walk and call it a day and say, man, I got 3 rabbits and 4 squirrels. That's enough. Okay? Time to set up the barbecue. All right, guys. Whew. Well, that's 1 hour of my vacation day. I need to shut this webinar down, go feed my wife and children, go drop them off at the cabin, come back to the hotel, set up and do my algorithmic trading program. I have to write essentially 3 papers this morning. 3 papers. So I'm really going to have to crank it out. 1 hour per question. And it's all on essentially backtesting and backfitting different algorithms on these really fancy Excel spreadsheets. All right, so it's not code level, it's Excel backtesting data, but based on different settings. So we call it like a look back period. So think of it as a moving average. Are you using a 10-day moving average, or what we do is like, are you using a 5 moving average and 8? Are you using a 21? Are you using a 55? Right? Are you using a 200? These are like sort of look backs to make decisions on momentum or trend. And then there's certain rules that you would program into the computer or into the algo, like how strong is it? And if it's strong, do you buy the same number of lots or do you buy more lots and all this kind of stuff? And what you're looking at over a 12-year period is what your Sharpe ratio is based on your look back period. So you try different numbers until you get better results over this 12-year period of daily close data. But then what you have to do is look at out of data samples. So in your last the last 6 years of the 12 years, you would look at every other year and pull it out and run the strategy over those and look at the Sharpe ratio of that and then decide, did that improve? Did it not improve? Does it prove your model works? Does it prove that your model was lucky because you basically fitted your model to work in the data? Right? So in sample and out of sample backtesting. And so we have these complicated models where I'm basically, later this morning, I'm going to have to like quickly crunch through, in sample and out of sample algos, crank through them, bust out their Sharpe ratios of both for each one, and then write 3 papers about my findings. and then I got to go like jet skiing. So this is the morning of a Forex trader, right? Neat, right? Yeah. What a wonderful vacation.